Hi, I'm the COSY Nook Cook, and today we're going to be testing one of Jamie's 15-minute meal recipes from this cookbook that's been sat on my shelf for a very long time. If we just flick through, we're going to be cooking the beef kofta recipe, the beef kofta curry recipe, and timing it, and we'll see if it does indeed take 15 minutes from start to finish. But also if we can follow the instructions, and for a novice cook like me, if I can follow them. So we're going to be cooking this beef kofta curry with fluffy rice, beans and peas, and see how we get on with it and see if the instructions are simple and it's going to take me 15 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer and we're going to see if this takes me 15 minutes to cook it from start to finish. I've kind of cheated because I've got all the ingredients out ready next to me, and we'll see where we go. So first instruction then is put the pui lentils into a bowl with salt, pepper and garam masala and mince. And the recipe calls for 400 grams of mince, but most mince packets come in 500 grams. So I'm going to have 100 grams left to do something in the week with. Similarly, with the pack of pui lentils, this was really expensive for what it was, like £3 something or other to buy, so not exactly budget friendly either. You could probably cook some pui lentils, some dried pui lentils beforehand, but again, that's not going to take you 15 minutes, and I guess the essence of this is speed. So I'm going to get a bowl. I'm going to smack the pui lentils in a bowl. I'm not going to measure the beef out, I'm going to eye it because I haven't got the will or inclination to start measuring out raw meat. And there we go, in a bowl. A bit of salt from the magic cupboard underneath, then a bit of pepper. I'll get my trusty spice bag out. And we'll do a heaped teaspoon of garam masala. And then, because this is a Jamie Oliver recipe, we take our clean hands and we're going to squish it together because we so enjoy getting our hands into raw meat. Yum. And we're going to squish the lentils in as well. So this is not something I'm enjoying whatsoever. It's pretty gross. And I probably could have squished it all together in a blender if I could be bothered, which would have been a bit quicker than doing it with my hands. There we go. Right, it then says to divide the mixture in half, then with wet hands, quickly squeeze and mould the shapes into 6 fat fingers. I'm still squishing together. There's loads of loose lentils at the bottom, so this could take some time. So what's the time on the clock? So we're like already nearly 4 minutes in, and these bad boys are going to need to cook. So yes, Jamie, 15 minutes indeed. Right, so we've got those lentils. So I need to divide them into 6. Oh, sorry, each half into 6. So I need 12 koftas. Okay, so that's not exactly half, but we'll go with it. And then we'll divide these into 6. Already, these instructions are annoying me because they're all shoved together in one paragraph and not exactly easy to follow. And also, these lentily beefy kofta things, although I've squeezed the lentils together, they're falling out all over the place, and I'm going to be clearing up pui lentils probably for the rest of eternity. It's been divided in 5. We're going to do this rushed because we need to do this in 15 minutes, Jamie. 15 minutes. I've probably made these fingers too fat and not very even either. So yeah, this is probably easy if you've got a kitchen like Jamie's, which you've got space and you've got a load of people prepping stuff for you, and you can do it in 15 minutes then, or you know, you've been a chef for a number of years. But I'm not gonna lie, this is annoying the crap out of me. It says then Put them in the frying pan with 1 tablespoon of oil and turn until golden. So I'm going to wash my hands because they're disgusting. 1 frying pan. And it doesn't say the ferocity of the heat or anything like that, so I'm just going to put it on medium. And I'm going to put some oil in the pan, and then I'm going to fry these up in a second. It says turning when golden. And then in the meantime, you need to put a mug of rice and 2 mugs of boiling water and the cardamom pods into a casserole pan. And then halve and add the beans and put the lid on. So I don't have a casserole pan. So I'm gonna just put them into a big saucepan. Okay, so it says a mug of rice, or like 300 grams of rice. It says whole grain rice. I don't have whole grain rice, and I wasn't going to go and buy more rice for the sake of it. So I've got a mug of rice. I'm then going to put 2 mugs of water in. Okay, we want some cardamom pods, and he wants to use 5 of those. I probably don't have 5 in my kitchen, so we'll see how many I've got. While we're waiting though, the oil's nice and hot, so let's pop these in. And I'm going to put this bowl out of the way. And as you can probably see, they're not all the same size. And to be fair, they look atrocious. A bit like big flat peas, but we'll see. So we're now 9 minutes and 54 seconds in, and we still haven't got anywhere. And we need 10 minutes to cook this in, right? So I'm going to start it off before I put the cardamom pods in. We've got the rice on, cardamom pods are in, and we need to halve the beans and then put the lid on. And we need 200 grams. So I haven't got 200 grams, I've got 120. It says green bean, so I'm assuming it could be any type of green bean. Or yellow bean. I'm not sure what a yellow bean is. Does anybody know? Halve them, they're going in. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to trim them. So, we put the lid on. Then it says, squash the tomatoes into a liquidizer and add peeled ginger, trimmed spring onions, and half the chilli, the coriander stalks, honey, turmeric, and curry paste. So, I'm going to get my blender out. So it says 3 ripe tomatoes, and Jamie wants me to smack them in a blender. Lovely. So squash the tomatoes into a liquidizer. I'm not squashing them. I'm going to chop them because life's too short to squash. Add peeled ginger, trimmed spring onions. So I'm going to trim them, and then I'm going to put in half the chilli. Okay. And then it says the coriander stalks as well, because we're now 15 minutes and 17 seconds into this recipe, and those koftas are going to be done before I'd even shoved all this in a blender. So me think that if, it doesn't include the prep time in this, and we're just wanting the stalks, so I'm having to take the leaves, which is very time consuming, off this to just get the stalk. Could be here for some time, and I've accidentally put the leaves in, so we'll pick those out. And you want some turmeric. I was really lazy as well with the ginger. I didn't buy fresh ginger because I have ginger. Chopped ginger in a jar, His life's too short at the moment for ginger. So he wants that. That's probably a some-sized piece of ginger. If I were to cut it fresh. And then Jamie's calling to add in the turmeric, which if I look at the list of ingredients, I'm sure maybe that way. If I look at the ingredients, it is 1 teaspoon of that, and we also need a teaspoon of honey, and the curry paste, which is 2 heaped teaspoons of Patak's Rogan Josh. Jamie, in this recipe, likes Patak quite a lot. I'm wondering if somebody had a sponsorship. I don't know. But anyway, I've turned off the koftas because the koftas are going to be overdone before I've even made the paste. Jamie. This is actually stressing me out as a recipe. But hey ho. So, 1 teaspoon of turmeric. There we go. And then 2 heaped teaspoons of not Patak Rogan Josh, because I'm not made of money. Okay. And then we want some honey, sweetness, excellent. Thank you. I'm going to go blend this. This is going to be really noisy, so I'll be back in a sec. 1 blended mush of tomato, spring onion, ginger, chilli and honey, Patak's paste, but not Patak's paste, and turmeric. So we've got that. Okay, it did say to put the coconut milk in as well, but I've got this tiny little blender. So I'm going to pour that into the kofta pan. Says to do, and then I'm going to get half a can, because Jamie likes to leave leftovers, half a can of coconut milk, and we're going to scoop that in. Don't worry, it's not going to go to waste, because I'll cook something else with it later on in the week. And then he says mix to combine. Okay, so we're adding it to the kofta pan. He says bring it to the boil, season and simmer to taste. So we're just going to incorporate all of this in. And we're going to do a time check, because already gone over 15 minutes. We're now on the 21-minute mark. Okie doke. So we've got that. We're going to check the rice. The rice is still cooking. It's not been 10 minutes yet. So then it says take the lid off the rice, add the peas and mix it all up and just give it a few minutes to cook. So Jamie says to add in 200 grams of frozen peas. Life's too short to measure, so I'm going to eyeball it. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to give that a mix in with a different spoon and leave that to cook. Okay. Now, Jamie's recipe calls for some uncooked poppadoms. Now, I'm not being funny, but I have never in my life heard of what an uncooked poppadom is or where you can get them. So I Googled it. And lo and behold, the only brand that I could find that makes uncooked poppadoms was Patak's. Someone being sponsored. So instead, what I did was I bought cooked poppadoms, because this is meant to be like a quick and easy recipe. And I don't have time to cook my own poppadoms, even if it just does require to put it in the microwave. Because I'm not being funny, the amount of energy I've used on this recipe so far has been far too much. So we won't be cooking them in the microwave or following that step. But what we'll need to do is finely slice the remaining chilli and the coriander leaves, and then they get scattered over the curry, and then we dollop it with yogurt and serve it with lemon wedges. So what it doesn't say in this recipe, though, is obviously chopping the time it takes to chop stuff like this. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a clear up so I can chop. And get my lemon wedge. Get my leaves that are now scattered everywhere. And we're going to chop. So we're going to slice the other half of the red chilli. I'm not doing it particularly finely. And we've got the nice chilli seeds there as well, which is going to give a massive amount of heat. So I'm sure the famalam is going to love that. And then we've got lemon wedges, which I'm just going to chop this into some wedges. Okie doke. So kofta curry is cooking nicely. The rice is still going, and it's not cooked properly yet. It's still needing a bit. Alright, so this is cooking nicely. Rice is about done. So I'm gonna go and get a plate and dish this up. There's a lot of water left over there. When I normally cook rice, there isn't, because I let it steam for the last 10 minutes. So maybe I put too much water in, I don't know. Maybe Jamie's recipe is just not that great. So I'm gonna dish the rice up. What I might do though is give this a quick drain, and that I've never ever drank rice. So this is gonna be annoying to say the least. And that's Jamie's 15-minute meal in exactly 31 minutes and 50 seconds. Well done, Jamie. So obviously it took me twice as long to cook that recipe. It was supposedly take me 15 minutes. I can cook-ish. I cook every day, so I know my way around the kitchen. But if you were a novice cook and picked that up, there are a lot of steps that I had to guess out that weren't included in the book, and potentially I wouldn't have got anything onto the plate at the end of it. It sort of relies on you having it all prepped up front. So not to put it down, but it's definitely not 15 minutes. It's definitely not a budget-friendly meal. There's lots of things in there that I've had to go out and buy. Pui lentils themselves are not the cheapest thing to buy, especially in the ready-to-eat packs that the recipe requires for. And if I'd have gone for the Rogan Josh Patak's branded stuff, as well as the uncooked poppadoms, that would have been even more expensive for what this meal is. I guess this was that recipe book from a time. You may have different opinions. You may be a bit of a quicker cook than I am and have more hands in the kitchen to support it, to bring that down. I guess the proof is in the eating. It tastes like a curry. Could I have made a cheaper and still flavourful curry? Probably. Do I have a lot of washing up to do now? Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. I've been the Cozy Nook Cook. Join me next time.